Welcome to MindFlow English. I am Amelia, and today I want to start with a question that many English learners never ask themselves, but should. Have you ever listened to someone speak and felt instantly drawn to them, even though their words were simple? Maybe they were not native speakers. Maybe their vocabulary was not advanced, but somehow their voice, their rhythm, and their confidence made you want to listen longer. That feeling is not an accident. It is the result of speaking like a leader. And today, I will show you how you can speak the same way, even if you are still learning English. Before we begin, imagine this situation. You walk into a room full of people. You are about to introduce yourself in English. You feel your heart beating fast. You try to think of the correct words. You hope you will not make a mistake. Then you hear someone else introduce themselves with a calm, clear, steady voice. Their English is simple, but their message is powerful. People look at them. People trust them. You wonder, why can they speak like that? And why can't I? The truth is, you can. Speaking like a leader is not about having perfect grammar. It is not about using long words. It is not about sounding like a native speaker. It is about presence. It is about clarity. It is about intention. Most importantly, it is about training your English in a way that builds confidence, not fear. In this episode, you will learn step-by-step techniques that leaders use every day to sound more powerful and more trustworthy in English. These techniques work even if you are at a beginner or intermediate level. And by the end of this series, you will not only understand leadership English, you will feel it in your voice, in your breath, and in your thinking. Let me start with something simple but important. Leaders speak slowly. Many English learners believe that speaking fast makes them sound fluent. But speaking fast often makes your message weak. When you speak fast, people cannot follow you. Your ideas sound less clear. Your voice sounds less confident. Think of the people you admire. They pause. They breathe. They allow silence. They let their words land in the listener's mind. So as you listen to this podcast, I want you to practice something. When you speak English, imagine that time slows down. Imagine that every word you say is important, because it is. Here is a small exercise. Say the following sentence slowly, as if you are giving a powerful speech. I am here to grow. Now say it again, even slower. Feel the space between the words. Feel how your chest rises and falls when you breathe. This simple exercise trains your voice to sound more grounded and more controlled. Another leadership skill is clarity. Leaders do not hide their message behind complicated sentences. Instead, they speak with direct intention. For English learners, this is an advantage. You do not need perfect English to sound like a leader. You only need clear English. Clear English is easy English. Short sentences, strong verbs, simple structure. Listen to these two examples. First, I would like to take this opportunity to inform all of you that I am currently working on improving my communication abilities. Now listen to the second version. I am improving my communication skills. Which one sounds stronger? The second one. Why? Because leadership English removes unnecessary words. It focuses on the essential message, and the more simple the message, the more powerful the impact. In this series, I will guide you through a method I call Speak to Lead English. It is not about memorizing phrases. It is about shifting your mindset. It is about seeing yourself as someone worth listening to. When you believe your ideas matter, your voice naturally becomes stronger. And the good news is, you do not need to wait until your English is perfect to have that belief. You can start today, right now, with the voice you already have. Now let's talk about something that surprises many students. Leadership English begins before you speak. It begins in your thoughts. If your thoughts are fast and stressful, your English becomes fast and stressful. If your thoughts are slow and focused, your English becomes slow and focused. Leaders think in straight lines. They do not let their minds jump from idea to idea. So here is another exercise. Before you speak, take one deep breath. Then choose one idea, only one. Say that idea. Do not add extra words. Do not try to fill the silence. Say your idea with intention. Then stop. Let the listener process it. For example, imagine someone asks, "Why do you want to improve your English?" Instead of saying, "I want to improve my English because I want to find a better job, and I want to travel, and I want to understand movies, and I think English will help me communicate, and I need it for my future." Try saying this: "I want to improve my English because it will open more opportunities for my life." Then pause. This type of answer sounds confident, controlled, and thoughtful. This is leadership English. Another element is vocal warmth. Leaders do not shout. They do not speak with tension. Their voices are relaxed, warm, and steady. A warm voice makes people trust you. A tense voice makes people feel nervous. So how do you create vocal warmth in English if you are still learning? You practice slow breathing, smooth rhythm, and gentle pronunciation. You do not force the words, you guide them. Let's practice with another line. Repeat after me slowly. "I can learn to speak with confidence." Now say it again, but this time with a softer tone. Imagine you are speaking to a friend who believes in you. Feel the difference. This is the voice of someone who leads through calm strength, not pressure. As we continue into the next parts, you will follow a simple journey. First, learning the mindset of leadership English. Next, learning the rhythm of leadership English. Then the body language of leadership English. Then the tone, the message structure, and finally the advanced patterns that English-speaking leaders use every day. By the end of all 10 parts, you will not only know how leaders speak, you will be able to speak this way yourself, naturally and confidently. In the last part, we explored the foundation of speaking like a leader, slowing down, breathing with intention, and shaping your message with clarity. Now, in this part, I want to take you deeper into the core elements that create a leadership voice in English. These are techniques that great speakers, global leaders, and professional communicators use every day. They are simple, but life-changing when you practice them correctly. And the best part is, you do not need advanced English to apply them. You only need awareness and consistent practice. Let's begin with the first principle of leadership communication: controlled energy. When you listen to someone with strong leadership presence, you can feel their energy immediately. Not loud energy, not aggressive energy, but focused energy. Their voice has power because their mind has direction. When learners speak English, they often feel nervous, and this nervousness creates unfocused energy. Their voice shakes, their sentences run too fast, their message becomes weak. To speak like a leader, you must learn how to control your energy, not let your energy control you. One powerful method is something I call the 3-breath reset. It is simple. Before you speak, take one breath to relax your body, one breath to focus your mind, and 1 breath to prepare your first sentence. This technique might sound small, but it changes everything. Leaders never rush into their words. They center themselves first. When your body is calm, your words are calm. When your mind is steady, your message becomes steady. Let's try it together now. Sit comfortably. Inhale slowly. Exhale slowly. That was the first breath. Now the second breath. Inhale again. Exhale slowly. Feel your shoulders soften. That was the second breath. Now the third breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale gently. After that third breath, say 1 sentence with intention. For example, I am ready to speak with confidence. This simple habit will help you sound composed, even if you feel nervous inside. Now we move to the second principle, message shaping. Leaders do not speak in long, confusing lines. They break their message into small, clear pieces. Imagine a professional speaker giving a presentation. They do not talk continuously without structure. They divide their ideas into clear segments. They guide the listener through the message. They create a path. English learners often speak in long, unplanned sentences because they try to translate from their native language. This leads to confusion and lack of confidence. Instead, I encourage you to use the leadership method of short units. Speak in short units of meaning. Each unit contains 1 idea. Then pause, then continue with the next unit. For example, instead of saying, I want to speak English better because I think it will help me find a better job, and I also want to travel, and I think it will help me understand people from different countries, say this, I want to improve my English. It will help me find better opportunities. It will help me connect with people around the world. And it will help me feel more confident when I travel. Notice the difference. The ideas are the same, but the structure feels stronger, clearer, and more confident. This is how leadership English works. Simple, direct, impactful. The next technique is something that many learners forget: vocal pacing. Leaders use a rhythm that feels steady and intentional. They do not rush through important points. They slow down at the right moments. They emphasize key words. They vary their speed to control attention. When you speak English with 1 speed only, the listener gets tired. But when you change your pacing with purpose, your voice becomes more interesting and more trustworthy. Let's practice pacing now. Say this sentence. Leadership begins with your voice. Now say it again. But slow down on the words begins with. Feel the difference. Now slow down on the word voice. Again, notice how the meaning changes depending on where you place your rhythm. This is a powerful tool. English is not only about grammar and vocabulary. It is about musicality. Leaders understand this, and you can learn it as well. Another element of leadership English is emotional grounding. Many learners feel embarrassed, afraid of mistakes, or worried about how others will judge them. These emotions weaken the voice. A leadership voice does not come from being perfect. It comes from being grounded. Being grounded means you feel stable, calm, and connected to your message. When you speak from this place, even simple sentences feel strong. To practice grounding, place your hand on your chest. Breathe deeply, then speak 1 sentence slowly. I believe in my ability to grow. Feel the vibration of your voice in your chest. That vibration is your grounding. When your voice vibrates evenly, your message feels balanced and confident. Now let's talk about another skill that leaders use: the power of the first sentence. The first sentence you say in English sets the tone for everything that comes after. If your first sentence is weak, rushed, or unclear, the listener's attention drops. But if your first sentence is clear and confident, the listener stays with you. This is extremely important for English learners because your first sentence is your foundation. For example, if you are in a meeting and someone asks you to introduce yourself, you can say a weak first sentence like, "Yes, hello, my name is Anna, and I want to say that I am happy to be here, and I hope my English is okay." Now listen to this stronger leadership version. My name is Anna, and I am glad to be here today. Simple, direct, confident. Even with basic English, your presence becomes stronger. In this podcast series, I will help you craft strong first sentences for different situations, work introductions, presentations, social conversations, interviews. Leadership speaking is not about saying a lot. It is about choosing the right first step. Now we move to the next principle. The leadership pause. The pause is a powerful tool. When learners are nervous, they avoid silence. They feel they must fill every moment with words. This makes the speech sound rushed and unclear. But great leaders use silence as a tool. They pause after an important point. They pause before answering a difficult question. They pause to let their message sink in. When you learn to use pauses correctly, your English instantly sounds more powerful. Try this exercise. Say this sentence with a small pause after the first phrase. I want to speak with confidence. Pause, then continue. And I am learning the skills to do that. Feel how the pause strengthens your message. Silence is not empty. Silence is influence. The next part of leadership English is something many students never practice. Purposeful pronunciation. You do not need perfect pronunciation to sound like a leader, but you do need intentional pronunciation. That means choosing which words to emphasize, choosing which words to soften, choosing how clearly you articulate your key message. For example, when you say the sentence, I want to speak clearly, emphasize the word clearly. This tells the listener what is important. Pronunciation is not a test, it is a tool. And when you use it with intention, your voice becomes more expressive and more effective. As we move forward into part 3, we will start learning how to build leadership thinking in English. We will train your mind to form ideas the way leaders form ideas. We will explore language patterns, thought structures, and habits that create powerful communication. In the previous part, we explored the voice, the pacing, the pauses, and the emotional grounding that help you speak like a leader in English. Now, in this part, I want to take you into one of the most important elements of leadership English, the mind of a leader. Before leaders speak powerful words, they think in powerful structures. If your thoughts are unclear, your English becomes unclear. If your thoughts are heavy with fear, your English becomes shaky. But if your thoughts are intentional, simple, and focused, your English becomes strong. Even if your vocabulary is basic, speaking like a leader begins with thinking like a leader. And thinking like a leader is something you can learn. No matter where you come from, no matter how long you have studied English. Today, I will guide you through a method I call leadership thinking patterns. These patterns help you create clear ideas, express them confidently, and organize your message so your listener feels guided and supported. This is the kind of English that keeps people listening. Let's begin with the first thinking pattern. The one message focus. Many English learners try to communicate too many ideas in one sentence or one speech. They think more words mean better English. But leadership English does the opposite. A leader chooses one message at a time, one purpose, one idea, one direction. When your mind holds only one idea, your English becomes clearer and easier to express. Let's practice this. Think of something simple, like why you are learning English. Most learners might say, I am learning English for my job, and for travel, and for communication, and for my future, and because I want to improve myself. But the one message focus asks you to choose only one reason. For example, I am learning English to open new opportunities. When you think this way, your voice becomes more focused. Your sentences feel more confident. You guide your listener instead of overwhelming them. Now let's explore the second pattern, the three-pillar structure. Leaders often speak in threes because the mind remembers information better in groups of three. When you listen to great speakers, you will notice this everywhere. They share 3 reasons, 3 steps, 3 lessons. This structure helps your English sound more organized and more natural. You don't need advanced vocabulary to use this structure. You only need to understand the pattern. Let's say you want to explain how you are improving your English. Instead of saying many random sentences, use the 3-pillar structure. For example, I am improving my English in 3 ways. First, I practice speaking every day. Second, I listen to English podcasts to learn natural rhythm. Third, I study simple phrases that help me express my ideas. This structure makes listeners feel comfortable. They know what to expect. They follow your message easily, and you sound more like a leader. The next thinking pattern is something very powerful, the straight line message. Many English learners speak in circles. They begin with one idea, then switch to another topic, then return to the first idea, then add a new detail. This makes the listener confused. But leaders speak in straight lines. They start with a point and move directly toward it. No unnecessary side ideas, no confusion, just a clean path. Let's imagine you want to say why confidence is important in English. A circular message might sound like this. Confidence is important in English because sometimes I feel nervous, and when I'm nervous I forget words, and then I feel embarrassed, and I think many people feel the same, and I want to improve my speaking. Now listen to a straight line version. Confidence is important in English because it helps you express your ideas clearly. One line, one idea, one direction. Your message is stronger, even with very basic English. Another leadership thinking skill is what I call the keyword anchor. Leaders anchor their message with one strong word that captures the main idea. This word becomes the center of the message. When listeners hear it, they remember the message. For example, if you are talking about improving your English, the key word might be consistency. If you are talking about leadership, the key word might be clarity. If you are talking about personal growth, the key word might be progress. Let's practice. Choose one word that describes what you want to achieve with your English. Maybe the word is confidence. Now build short sentences around that anchor. For example, confidence helps me speak more clearly. Confidence helps me share my ideas at work. Confidence helps me stay calm when I make mistakes. Notice how the anchor creates structure. This technique will make your English more memorable. Now let's move to another powerful idea: mental simplicity. Leaders speak clearly because they think simply. They do not try to impress people with complicated ideas. They try to help people understand. English learners often believe they must use advanced words to sound smart. But leadership English is built on simplicity. Simple thoughts create simple sentences. Simple sentences create strong communication. When preparing to speak, ask yourself one question: how can I say this more simply? If your mind tries to create long sentences, break them into smaller pieces. If you are trying to add details, ask yourself whether the details are necessary. If they are not, remove them. Simplicity is strength. Now let's talk about something very important for English learners: leadership self-talk. The way you speak to yourself affects the way you speak to others. If your self-talk is negative, your voice becomes weak. If your self-talk is encouraging, your voice becomes strong. Many learners tell themselves things like, "My English is bad. People will not understand me. I will make mistakes." These thoughts weaken your confidence before you even begin speaking. Leaders use supportive self-talk. They say things like, "My English is improving. I am learning step by step. I can express my ideas. I am growing every day." When you talk to yourself like a leader, your voice naturally becomes more stable. Let's practice leadership self-talk now. Repeat these simple lines slowly. I am learning to speak with confidence. I am growing every day. I can communicate with clarity. I deserve to express my ideas. These sentences may feel simple, but they rewrite your mindset. When your mind is strong, your English becomes stronger. The next part of leadership thinking is emotional direction. Leaders do not speak from fear. They speak from purpose. They know why they are talking. They understand the value of their message. When English learners speak with fear, their voice becomes small. But when they speak with purpose, their voice becomes grounded. Before you speak, ask yourself, what is my purpose right now? Maybe your purpose is to explain an idea. Maybe your purpose is to connect with someone. Maybe your purpose is to practice. When you identify your purpose, your communication becomes more focused. Your thoughts become clearer, and your English becomes more effective. As we move into the next part of this series, we will explore the connection between body language and leadership English. How you move, how you breathe, how you hold yourself physically can change the quality of your English instantly. Leadership communication is not only about the words you choose. It is about the presence you create. In the previous parts, we explored the voice, the pacing, the mindset, and the thinking patterns that shape leadership communication in English. Now in this part, we will move into an essential and often forgotten area: the body language of leadership English. Many English learners focus only on words, grammar, and vocabulary. But leaders understand something deeper. Communication begins in the body before it reaches the mouth. The way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you use your eyes, and even the way you hold your shoulders affects the sound of your voice and the clarity of your English. Today, you will learn how to use your body to support your words. These techniques are simple, but they will transform the way you speak, even if you are a beginner. When your body is aligned, your English flows more naturally. When your body is tense, your English becomes strained. Speaking like a leader requires physical presence, not only verbal skill. Let's start with the first principle of leadership body language: the grounded posture. When you look at strong speakers, you will notice something immediately. They look stable, they look centered, they look balanced. They do not fidget, they do not shrink their shoulders, they do not pull their body inward. Instead, they stand or sit with calm strength. This posture sends a signal to your brain that you are in control. And when your brain receives that signal, your English voice becomes clearer and more confident. To practice grounded posture, sit or stand with your feet firmly on the floor. Imagine a line running from the top of your head down to the ground. Lift your chest slightly, but without forcing your shoulders up. Relax your neck, relax your jaw. This posture might feel unfamiliar at first, but it is the foundation of a leadership voice. When your posture is grounded, your breath becomes deeper. And when your breath is deeper, your voice becomes smoother. Speaking of breath, let's move to the second principle, leadership breathing. Many English learners do not breathe correctly when they speak. They take quick, shallow breaths from their upper chest. This creates tension, speeds up their speaking, and increases nervousness. Leaders breathe from the diaphragm, the deep center of the body. This type of breathing supports long, steady sentences. It reduces anxiety. It creates a warm, stable voice. Let's practice this together. Place one hand on your upper chest and one hand on your stomach. Breathe in slowly. If your upper chest moves more than your stomach, your breathing is high and shallow. Now try again. Breathe in and allow your stomach to move outward gently. This means you are breathing from your diaphragm. This type of breathing gives your voice a natural power. You do not need to force your words. Your breath carries them. Now let's move to the third principle, controlled movement. Leaders do not move randomly when they speak. Their gestures are purposeful. Their hands move with intention. Their facial expressions match their message. This does not mean you need dramatic movements or exaggerated gestures. It simply means your body reinforces your message instead of distracting from it. For English learners, uncontrolled movement often comes from nervousness. The body tries to release tension by moving too much, but excessive movement makes your English sound less confident. To build leadership movement, use slow, simple gestures. For example, when you explain something with 3 steps, show it with your fingers. When you emphasize an important idea, place your hand gently on your chest. When you want to express connection, extend your hand slightly forward. These small movements make your English feel natural and expressive. Another important element of leadership body language is eye direction. You may not think about your eyes when speaking English, but your eyes tell your brain whether you feel safe or afraid. When you avoid eye contact completely, your voice becomes weaker. When you stare too intensely, your voice becomes tense. Leaders use soft, steady eye contact. If you are speaking to one person, look at them for a few seconds, then glance away naturally, then return to them. If you are speaking to a group, look at different people gently, one at a time. If you are speaking into a camera, imagine you are speaking to one supportive friend behind the lens. Eye direction is not about staring. It is about connection. Now let's talk about facial ease. Many English learners unconsciously tighten their face when speaking. Their jaw becomes stiff. Their lips tighten. Their forehead wrinkles. This tension makes pronunciation harder and voice quality weaker. Leaders keep their face relaxed. A relaxed face creates smoother sounds, clearer vowels, and more natural rhythm. Try this exercise. Gently massage your jaw with your fingertips. Then open your mouth slightly and release your tongue by letting it rest comfortably. Say this sentence slowly. I am learning to speak with clarity. Notice how your voice changes when your face is relaxed. This simple technique can make your English sound dramatically smoother. Next, we move to the concept of presence. Presence is the invisible quality that makes people pay attention to you, even before you speak. It is not about being loud or dominant. It is about being fully in the moment. When you speak English as a learner, your mind often jumps between fear, translation, and self-judgment. This causes you to lose presence. Leadership presence means you stay grounded in the moment. You focus on your message, your breath, and your listener. You do not think about mistakes. You do not think about the past or future. You stay here, now, with your words. One simple way to build presence is to pause before speaking. Allow your mind 1 second to settle. Then speak your first sentence with intention. This creates a natural leadership effect. People listen to speakers who speak from presence, not from panic. Another powerful tool is alignment between body and message. When your words say one thing, but your body says another, your listener feels the disconnect. For example, if you say, I am confident, but your shoulders are tense, your voice shakes, and your eyes look away, the listener will not believe your words. But if your body supports your message, your English becomes more believable and more authentic. When you say, I am ready to learn, lift your posture. When you say, I believe in myself, breathe from your center. When you say, I can grow, allow your voice to move with calm strength. Let's practice alignment now. Sit or stand with grounded posture. Take one deep breath, then say this sentence slowly. I am improving my English every day. As you say it, let your chest stay open. Let your shoulders stay relaxed. Let your voice flow naturally. You will notice how different the sentence feels when your body supports your message. Finally, let's talk about leadership calm. Calm is one of the strongest forms of confidence. People follow voices that feel steady, not frantic. English learners often feel rushed because they want to avoid silence or mistakes. But rushing creates insecurity. Calmness creates strength. You can practice leadership calm by slowing down your movements, slowing down your breathing, and slowing down your sentences. Calmness is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to stay steady despite fear. As we prepare for part 5, we will move into deeper voice training. We will explore tone, resonance, articulation, and the way leaders use vocal warmth to influence and connect with listeners. Your voice is not just a tool for speaking English, it is a tool for expressing who you are. In the last part, we explored leadership body language, grounded posture, controlled movement, and the calm physical presence that supports a confident English voice. Now, in this part, we will go deeper into the heart of leadership communication. The voice itself. Your voice is more than sound. It is emotion, energy, connection, and identity. A leadership voice is warm, steady, and clear. It makes people trust you. It keeps listeners engaged. And the best news is this: you do not need a perfect accent to develop a powerful voice. You only need intention, awareness, and practice. Today, we will train your tone, resonance, articulation, and vocal presence. These skills are simple, but when you combine them, they create the sound of leadership English. This part is not about speaking loudly. It is about speaking purposefully. Let's begin with the first principle of vocal leadership: tone control. Tone is the emotional color of your voice. It is how you make people feel when you speak. Many English learners focus only on grammar and forget about tone. But tone often matters more than vocabulary. A warm tone creates connection. A calm tone creates trust. A steady tone creates authority. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine two speakers. One speaks in a rushed, sharp, nervous tone. The other speaks in a slow, steady, warm tone. Even if both speakers use simple English, you naturally feel drawn to the warm one. Leaders understand this. They shape their tone with intention. Let's practice a warm tone. Breathe slowly. Relax your shoulders. Speak this sentence gently. I am learning to speak with clarity. Notice how warmth comes not from speaking softly, but from speaking with presence. When your tone is warm, even a short sentence feels meaningful. Now let's move to the second principle, resonance. Resonance is the vibration of your voice inside your body. When your voice resonates, it sounds fuller, deeper, and more confident. Many learners push their voice from the throat. This creates a thin, tense sound. But leaders speak from the chest and diaphragm. This creates a grounded, rich sound. Place your hand on your upper chest. Hum gently for a few seconds. Feel the vibration. That vibration is the foundation of your leadership voice. Now say this sentence slowly. My voice is steady and clear. If your chest vibrates slightly, you are using resonance. This does not require a deep natural voice. It requires breath support and relaxed muscles. When your resonance improves, your English becomes easier to listen to. Another essential part of leadership voice is articulation. Articulation is how clearly you shape your sounds. Many English learners blur their consonants because they feel nervous. When consonants become weak, the listener must work harder to understand you. Leaders articulate with intention. They do not exaggerate every sound, but they give structure to key words. Let's practice a simple technique. Take the sentence, I want to speak clearly. Now repeat it slowly. Press lightly on the sounds T, P, and K. Say, I want to speak clearly. You do not need to sound perfect. You only need to speak with intention. This allows your English to sound clear, even if your vocabulary is simple. Now let's talk about vocal pacing again, but in a deeper way. In part 2, we practice pacing for clarity. Today, we practice pacing for influence. Leaders use pacing not only to express ideas, but to guide emotions. When they want to inspire, they slow down. When they want to energize, they speed up slightly. When they want to highlight something important, they pause. Let's practice influence pacing. Say this sentence. You have the power to change your English. Now say it again, but slow down on the phrase, the power. Feel how the meaning becomes stronger. Now pause slightly before the word change. This pacing creates emotional impact. When you use pacing this way, people do not just hear your words, they feel your words. Now let's explore something that many learners never train. Vocal variety. If you speak English in one tone, one rhythm, and one energy level, the listener becomes tired. But if you vary your voice with intention, your message becomes more alive. Leadership English uses highs and lows, strong and soft moments, fast and slow movements. This variety keeps listeners engaged. Let's try a simple exercise. Take the sentence, I am improving my English every day. Say the first half with a gentle tone. I am improving my English. Then say the second half with slightly more energy. Every day. This creates natural variation. You do not need dramatic changes. You only need small shifts. These shifts make your English sound confident. Another important element is vocal relaxation. Many learners build tension in the throat because they are afraid of making mistakes. But tension blocks airflow, weakens resonance, and causes the voice to shake. Leaders relax their throat, jaw, and shoulders before speaking. Try this exercise. Take a slow breath. Exhale with a gentle sigh. Then say this sentence: I am ready to speak with confidence. If your throat feels soft and open, you are using a relaxed voice. This is how leaders speak: calm, open, grounded. Now let's go deeper into vocal presence. Presence is the feeling that your voice fills the space, even if you are speaking softly. It is the combination of breath, tone, intention, and awareness. When you speak with presence, the listener feels your message. You do not need to be loud. You need to be grounded. To build presence, imagine that your voice does not stop at your lips. Imagine that it travels out into the room. Speak this sentence slowly. My words carry strength. Visualize your voice moving forward, not upward or downward. This visualization helps your voice sound more connected and confident. Now let's talk about emotional honesty. Leadership voice is not about being perfect. It is about speaking with genuine emotion. People connect to authenticity, not performance. If your English is not perfect, but your emotion is real, listeners stay with you. If your English is perfect, but your emotion is flat, listeners lose interest. Leaders use tone to express calmness, empathy, determination, or clarity. Let's practice emotional honesty. Think of a small goal you have in English. Now speak this sentence with sincerity. I truly want to improve. Do not perform. Do not force emotion. Simply speak truthfully. This authenticity is the foundation of leadership English. Another powerful technique is vocal anchoring. Vocal anchoring means choosing one word in your sentence that carries your main message. You speak that word with slightly more weight. For example, in the sentence, I can grow, the anchor word might be grow. You give that word a little more breath, a little more intention. This technique strengthens your message. Let's try it. Say this sentence slowly. I am becoming more confident. The anchor word is confident. Do not force it. Simply give it a little more presence. This makes your English sound focused and powerful. Finally, let's talk about vocal stillness. Stillness is not silence. Stillness is emotional steadiness. Leaders speak from a place of calm, even when the topic is important. Stillness creates trust. Stillness gives weight to your words. Stillness helps your listener relax. Practice this now. Sit or stand comfortably. Take one slow breath. Let your body settle. Then speak this sentence with calm strength. I am learning step by step. Feel the stillness inside your voice. This is leadership presence. As we prepare for part 6, we will shift into practical communication patterns. You will learn leadership sentence structures, key expressions, and everyday phrases that make your English sound strong, clear, and professional. These are tools you can use at work, in conversations, or in any situation where you want to speak like a leader. Now let's move into the next powerful leadership communication skill: speaking with calm authority. Many English learners think authority means sounding strict, loud, or forceful. But true authority, the kind that leaders use, sounds calm, steady, and controlled. This type of voice makes people feel safe, respected, and willing to listen. And the good news is, you can learn it, even if English is not your first language. On MindFlow English, I, Amelia, want you to feel that you can speak like a leader anywhere. At work, in meetings, in presentations, or in everyday conversations. So in this part, we will practice how to speak calmly, even when your mind is racing, or when you feel nervous. Imagine you are in a meeting, and someone asks you a difficult question. Many English learners panic at this moment. Their voice starts shaking, their mind speeds up, their English becomes unclear. But a leader does something different. A leader pauses, a leader breathes, a leader speaks slowly. This pause does not make you look weak. It actually makes you look more confident. Let me show you a simple technique you can start using today. I call it the 4-second pause. When you want to answer with authority, pause for 4 seconds before you speak. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, begin your sentence with a grounding phrase like this: "Here is my view," or "Here is what I think," or "Let me explain." These simple openings give your mind time to prepare your English. They also show maturity and calmness. Let's practice this technique together. Imagine someone asks you, "How can we improve this project?" Before you answer, pause. Count 4 seconds in your mind. Then say, "Here is my view." We can begin by improving communication within the team. Now listen to how that feels. Calm, steady, clear. You sound like someone who leads, not someone who reacts. Another important part of calm authority is speaking at a controlled speed. Many learners speak too fast because they want to sound fluent. But speed does not create fluency. Clarity creates fluency. Leaders speak clearly and slowly enough for people to understand every word. When you slow down, listeners stay with you longer. They trust you more. They feel connected to your voice. Try this with me. Read this sentence slowly. I believe we can find a better solution if we take a moment to rethink our approach. Now read it again, but slower. Notice how the meaning becomes stronger. Notice how your confidence feels bigger. This is the power of controlled pacing. Another technique is to lower the ending of your sentence. Many English learners raise their voice at the end, which makes them sound unsure. Leaders do the opposite. They drop their voice slightly at the end. It sounds like the sentence is firm and finished. Try this sentence. I am confident we can fix this. Now try it again, lowering the last word. Fix this. Hear the difference. The second version sounds calm, confident, and professional. You can practice this skill anywhere, at home, in the car, while walking. Simply say one sentence a day with a calm, lowered ending. Over time, it will become natural. Another way to sound like a leader is by choosing simple words. Leaders do not use complicated vocabulary. They use clear and direct English. You do not need to sound academic. You need to sound understandable. Instead of saying, "My suggestions aim to elevate our operational efficiency," say, "My idea can help us work better." Which one sounds more human, more natural, more powerful? The second one. A leader removes confusion. A leader makes ideas simple. Now let's connect this to real-life situations. Imagine you are in a group discussion. People are talking fast. Everyone is sharing ideas at the same time. You want to speak, but you feel nervous. What should you do? Use a leadership entry phrase. A leadership entry phrase gives you the floor without sounding rude. Try this. "May I add something here?" Or, "I would like to share a thought." Or, "Let me offer another perspective." These phrases are soft, polite, and powerful. They show confidence and respect at the same time. Let's practice. Repeat after me slowly. May I add something here? Good. Another one. Let me offer another perspective. Excellent. These sentences are simple, but they change how people see you. When you speak this way, you sound like someone who belongs in the conversation. Now I want to teach you a technique that many leaders use before speaking. The grounding breath. Before they talk, they take a short breath in and a long breath out. This helps relax the voice. It reduces tension in the throat. It slows the heart rate, so when they finally speak, their voice sounds calm, steady, and controlled. Try this now. Inhale gently. Exhale slowly. Now speak this sentence with a calm tone. I think we can move forward with this idea. Notice how your voice feels more stable. As we continue this training, remember this: leadership communication is not about dominating others. It is about guiding, inspiring, and calming the people around you. And you can do this even with simple English, even with short sentences, even as a beginner. What matters is how you deliver your words. You are learning to speak like a leader, and you are doing it step by step with MindFlow English. Stay with me, because in the next part, we will dive deeper into one of the most powerful leadership tools: persuasive storytelling. This will help you influence, inspire, and connect with people in any language. Let's continue this journey together. Now we move into one of the most important leadership speaking skills: persuasive storytelling. Every great leader is a great storyteller. They do not just give information, they guide people through a journey. They make people feel something. They help others understand ideas through simple, emotional, and memorable stories. And here is the truth: even if English is not your first language, you can still tell powerful stories. You do not need complicated vocabulary. You do not need perfect grammar. You only need structure, clarity, and emotion. That is what I, Amelia, will help you build in this part. Let's begin with the most essential storytelling structure: the three-step story. It is simple, effective, and used by leaders around the world. The three steps are the situation, the challenge, and the message. When you speak with this structure, people stay with you. They understand your point. They remember what you say. Let me show you an example using simple English. First, the situation. Last year, our team started a new project to improve customer experience. Second, the challenge. In the beginning, nothing worked the way we hoped. We made mistakes. We had miscommunication. We felt stressed. Third, the message. But after we focused on simple communication and teamwork, everything changed. This structure is easy to follow. It feels natural, and it makes your point clear. Now let's practice building your own leadership story. Begin with a situation from your life. It can be something small. Maybe you learned something from a coworker. Maybe you solved a problem at home. Maybe you overcame a difficult moment while learning English. Every real story has value. Think of one now. Picture it clearly in your mind. Next, think about the challenge. What went wrong? What was difficult? What made the situation uncomfortable or confusing? You do not need dramatic problems. Even small challenges create emotional connection, and emotion is what makes people listen. Finally, think about the message. What lesson did you learn? What idea can you share with others? What point does your story show? This final message is what makes your story useful. It is what transforms your experience into leadership. Let me guide you through a simple example that you can repeat and copy for your own stories. Imagine this is your story situation. When I first started practicing English, I was afraid to speak. Challenge. Every time I tried, I made mistakes, and people corrected me. I felt embarrassed. I wanted to give up. Message. But I learned that mistakes are part of growth. When I accepted them, my speaking became stronger and more natural. This is the kind of story that leaders tell. Simple, real, honest, easy to understand. Now, to add extra power to your storytelling, you can use what I call the connection phrase. These are short sentences that invite the listener inside your experience. They make your story feel more personal and emotional. Here are some examples. I want you to imagine this with me. Let me take you back to that moment. I remember this clearly. These simple phrases create a bridge between you and your listener. Let me show you how to use them. Listen to this sentence. Let me take you back to the first time I gave a presentation in English. Immediately, the listener feels like they are entering the story with you. That is the power of storytelling leaders use. Another important skill is using sensory details. Sensory details are small descriptions that help the listener see, hear, or feel the moment. You do not need to describe everything. You only need one detail. One is enough to make your story come alive. For example, the room felt warm and quiet. Or, I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. Or, I saw everyone looking at me, waiting for my words. Simple details make your story feel real. Now let's talk about pacing in storytelling. Many learners rush through their stories because they want to finish quickly. But leaders do the opposite. They slow down during important moments. They pause. They let the listener feel the meaning. For example, when describing the challenge in your story, speak slowly. Let the emotions sit in the air. This is how you create impact. Let's practice a slow moment together. Imagine you are telling a story about your first day at a new job. Say this sentence with a slow, calm voice. I walked into the room, and everything felt unfamiliar. Notice the weight of the sentence. When you speak slowly, listeners feel what you felt. Another way leaders create persuasive stories is by using contrast. Contrast is when you show the difference between before and after, problem and solution, fear and confidence. Contrast helps your message stand out. For example, at first, I was unsure and quiet, but after I practiced more, I felt confident and clear. That contrast makes your growth visible. Now let's take everything we learned and build a full leadership story together. I will speak it step by step, and you can follow along later when you practice for yourself. Situation. Let me take you back to the time when I joined my first international team meeting. I remember sitting at the table, hearing everyone speak English confidently. I felt small, and I felt nervous. Challenge. When it was my turn to speak, my hands were shaking. My voice was quiet. I forgot the words I wanted to say. After the meeting, I felt disappointed in myself. I thought I would never be able to speak like the others. Message. But after that day, I made a decision. I would practice every day, even if it was just for 5 minutes. I would speak slowly. I would not rush. I would not worry about mistakes. And over time, something amazing happened. My English became clearer. My confidence grew. And in the next meeting, my voice was strong. This is how leaders speak. They tell stories that show growth, learning, and transformation. You can do the same, and you will become more persuasive because stories stay in people's minds longer than facts. Stories inspire. Stories motivate. Stories guide people to action. As we move to the next part of this training, we will focus on leadership vocabulary and simple phrases you can use to sound more structured, more confident, and more professional in English. These phrases are easy, powerful, and perfect for anyone learning English. And when you use them in meetings, presentations, or conversations, people will see you as someone who leads with clarity and purpose. Now that you understand how persuasive storytelling works, it is time to strengthen your leadership voice with simple, powerful phrases. Many English learners think they must memorize hundreds of advanced words to sound professional. But that is not true. Effective leaders use clear language that everyone can understand. Their words are simple, but the impact is strong. In this part, I will teach you essential leadership vocabulary and sentence structures that you can use immediately in your daily English. These phrases will help you sound organized, confident, and purposeful. Even if you are still learning the language, you do not need long sentences. You need the right ones. Let's begin with what I call the clarity starters. These are short expressions that help you introduce your ideas clearly. They make your speech sound structured. Here are some examples. Let me summarize this. Here is the key point. This is what matters most. Let me clarify that. Listen to how these phrases guide the listener. They prepare the mind to receive important information. Leaders use these phrases all the time because they keep communication focused and simple. Try this exercise with me. Say this sentence out loud. Here is the key point. Notice how it gives your words strength before you even say your idea. Now try another. Let me clarify that. This is a phrase you can use when someone misunderstands you. Instead of feeling nervous, you can take control of the moment with calm language. Next, let's look at what I call decision phrases. Leaders often need to make choices or guide a group toward an action. But you can do this in simple English. You do not need complex grammar. Listen to these examples. I suggest we move forward with this plan. My recommendation is to try a different approach. I believe this option will give us better results. These sentences are easy to remember, but sound strong and professional. Repeat this with me. I suggest we move forward with this plan. Do you hear the confidence? Now repeat. My recommendation is to try a different approach. This language shows leadership, even if the sentence is simple. Another useful category is transition phrases. These help you move smoothly from one idea to the next. Many learners struggle here because they jump from idea to idea without connection. But leaders guide listeners with clear transitions. Here are some examples. Now let's move to the next step. Let me explain this in another way. Before we continue, I want to add something important. These transitions make your communication smooth and easy to follow. Let's practice. Say this. Before we continue, I want to add something important. This sentence prepares your listener for valuable information. It gives your voice authority without sounding aggressive. Now let's talk about agreement phrases. Even leaders need to agree politely and professionally. Many English learners simply say yes or I agree. But stronger phrases can help you sound more natural. Here are some examples. I agree with that point. That makes sense to me. I see your perspective. I support this idea. These expressions show teamwork and respect, which are essential leadership qualities. Try saying, I see your perspective. This phrase is polite and balanced. It shows understanding even if you are not fully agreeing. Now try. That makes sense to me. This shows clarity and confidence. Now let's learn disagreement phrases. Leaders sometimes disagree, but they do it respectfully. You can disagree without sounding rude. Here are examples you can use. I understand your point, but I see it differently. That is an interesting idea, but I have another suggestion. I appreciate your view, but I want to offer a different perspective. These phrases protect relationships while still allowing you to express your thoughts. Practice this one slowly. I understand your point, but I see it differently. Notice how gentle and respectful it sounds. You do not need perfect English to disagree professionally. Next, let's explore organizing phrases. These are extremely powerful. When you want to present ideas in a clear order, they help your listener follow your thinking step by step. Try these simple structures. First, let me explain the situation. Second, here is the challenge. Third, this is the solution. Or you can use, there are 3 things we should focus on. These organizing phrases make you sound structured and calm. Now repeat this with me. There are 3 things we should focus on. This is a simple but perfect leadership sentence. You can use it in meetings, presentations, group discussions, or even when helping someone understand something. Another useful tool is the reassurance phrase. Leaders help people feel calm, supported, and confident. These phrases are especially helpful when a group is worried or stressed. Here are examples. We will figure this out together. There is no need to rush. Let's take this step by step. We can handle this situation. These sentences make you sound stable and trustworthy. Try saying this one. We will figure this out together. Notice how warm and supportive it feels. Now try. Let's take this step by step. This phrase helps reduce pressure for everyone listening. Now let me show you a short example of how a leader might use these phrases in a conversation. Listen carefully. First, let me summarize this. We have a clear goal, but we need a better plan. I suggest we try a different approach. Before we continue, I want to add something important. We will figure this out together. Do you notice how these simple sentences create clarity and confidence? You can do this too. To help you practice these phrases effectively, I recommend choosing 3 of them and using them every day. Use one at work. Use one when speaking with friends. Use one when practicing English alone. With repetition, these phrases will become natural parts of your speech. The more natural they become, the more confident you will feel. And the more confident you feel, the more leadership energy your voice will have. As we continue in the next part, I will teach you how to deliver your words with emotional tone. Tone is one of the most powerful tools in communication. It can make your message warm, inspiring, strong, or calming, depending on how you use it. This is the part where your voice truly becomes a leadership voice. Now that you have learned powerful leadership phrases and structures, it is time to focus on something even more important: your emotional tone. Words matter, but the way you deliver those words matters even more. Tone is the music behind your voice. Tone is what makes your message warm, inspiring, confident, or calming. Great leaders understand this, and they use tone to connect with people, not just communicate information. Many English learners focus only on vocabulary and grammar, but if you want to speak like a leader, you must master vocal tone. Even simple English becomes powerful when the tone is right. And the good news is that tone is something you can train step by step, no matter your English level. Let's start with the first essential leadership tone, warm tone. Warm tone makes people feel safe, respected, and valued. It is soft, smooth, and friendly. You use it when you want to support someone, comfort them, or build trust. Leaders use warm tone when they say things like, "Take your time. We will figure this out together. I understand how you feel." These words become much more meaningful when spoken gently. Let me guide you through a warm tone exercise. Take a slow breath. Relax your shoulders. Speak this sentence softly. "I am here to help you." Feel how your voice becomes calm. That is warm tone. Now try another. Let's take this step by step. This tone builds connection, and people trust you more when you speak this way. The second leadership tone is confident tone. Confident tone is steady, clear, and controlled. It is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is calm strength. It is the tone that makes people want to follow your ideas. Leaders use confident tone when giving direction, sharing decisions, or explaining important information. Let's practice confident tone together. Sit up straight. Speak slowly. Use a steady voice. Say this: "Here is what we should do next." Notice how the tone feels firm, but not pushy. Try another sentence. "I believe this is the best direction for us." This tone communicates clarity and certainty. The third leadership tone is motivational tone. This tone inspires people. It gives energy. It helps others feel brave and capable. Motivational tone is slightly higher in energy compared to warm or confident tone, but it is still controlled. Leaders use motivational tone when they want to lift people up, encourage growth, or spark excitement. Try this with me. Imagine you want to inspire your team. Say this line with energy: "I know we can achieve this." Feel how your voice lifts slightly. Now try. Let's give this our best effort. Motivational tone makes people believe in themselves, and it makes them believe in you as a leader. Another important tone is the reflective tone. This is a thoughtful, quiet tone that leaders use when sharing lessons, experiences, or stories. Reflective tone slows down the pace and makes the listener think deeply. It is perfect for storytelling, especially during emotional or meaningful moments. Practice reflective tone with this sentence: "Let me share what I learned from that experience." Notice how your voice becomes softer and more thoughtful. Now try. "This moment changed how I see things." This tone is powerful because it invites listeners into your inner world. Now let's talk about how to control your tone in real conversations. Many English learners feel nervous, and when they feel nervous, their voice becomes shaky or fast. This can make their tone sound unsure, but you can fix this with one simple technique: breath before voice. Before you speak, breathe in gently and breathe out slowly. Then begin your sentence. This creates a stable tone and reduces tension. Try it now. Breathe in, breathe out. Then speak this slowly: "I would like to share my idea." Feel the calmness in your voice. This technique is used by public speakers, teachers, managers, and leaders around the world. When your breath is calm, your tone becomes strong. Another technique for tone control is what I call the slow start. Many learners begin speaking too fast, but leaders begin slowly. Slow beginnings help you sound thoughtful and confident. Instead of rushing into your sentence, begin with a soft, slow phrase. For example, "Let me explain," or "Here is what I think." Begin slowly, then continue at a natural pace. Let's practice the slow start. Say this sentence with a calm beginning. Let me explain how we can solve this problem. Notice how your voice feels grounded. This technique makes your tone sound more professional. Now let's combine tone with leadership phrases to create powerful communication. Listen to this example and imagine the tone behind each sentence. With a warm tone, I understand your concern. With a confident tone, here is what we should do next. With a reflective tone, this challenge taught us something important. With a motivational tone, I believe we can overcome this. When you mix tones like this, your message becomes more dynamic and engaging. To help you practice tone every day, choose one tone per day and use it intentionally. On Monday, practice warm tone. On Tuesday, practice confident tone. On Wednesday, practice motivational tone. Consistent practice helps you develop vocal awareness and control. Let me give you a short model leadership speech that uses all these tones. Listen to the flow as I guide you through it. Warm tone. I know this situation is challenging, and it is okay to feel stressed. Confident tone. Here is what we should do next. Reflective tone. When I faced a similar challenge, I learned the importance of teamwork. Motivational tone. And I believe we can achieve this together. This is how leaders use tone to guide people through difficult moments. You can speak like this too. Tone does not require a high English level. Tone does not require perfect grammar. Tone only requires awareness, practice, and intention. And once you learn to use tone effectively, your English will sound powerful, mature, and inspiring. In the next part, we will combine everything you have learned into a final leadership communication model. This final section will help you speak like a leader in real-life situations, meetings, presentations, interviews, and everyday conversations. You will learn practical scripts you can use immediately. As we come to the final part of this lesson from MindFlow English, I want to leave you with a simple truth. Speaking like a leader is not something you are born with. It is something you create through daily habits, through the way you choose your words, through the way you manage your tone, and through the confidence you build one sentence at a time. Throughout this entire podcast, we have explored the foundations of leadership communication: clarity, purpose, rhythm, calm control, emotional influence, and the ability to make people listen without forcing them to. Now, in this final part, I want to bring everything together so you can use it immediately in your real life. Think back to what we practiced. You learned to slow down, to breathe, to give your message weight instead of rushing through every idea. You learned to use simple English, not complicated vocabulary, because great leaders communicate with impact, not complexity. You learned how to start strong, how to guide the listener step by step, and how to end your message with clarity. All these skills are practical. You can apply them today, even if you are a beginner, even if you still make mistakes. What matters is not perfection. What matters is intention. Let me repeat that, because this is one of the most important lessons. Great leadership communication is about intention. When you speak, you should ask yourself, what is the purpose of this message? What emotion do I want the listener to feel? What action do I want them to take? What idea do I want them to remember? Leaders speak with intention, not by accident. When you speak with intention, your words become more powerful. Your tone becomes more stable. Your message becomes more memorable. But I know something else. Many English learners still hesitate. They think, my accent is not good enough. My grammar is not perfect. My vocabulary is too small. But listen, none of that stops you from sounding like a leader. A leader is someone who communicates confidently with what they have. Confidence does not come from having perfect English. Confidence comes from trusting yourself. It comes from understanding that communication is a skill, not a test. It comes from practicing simple sentences with strong delivery. So as you move forward after this lesson, I want you to do 3 things every day. First, practice speaking slowly and clearly. Record yourself. Listen to your tone. Notice your rhythm. Second, choose one leadership phrase you heard in this podcast and use it in real life. For example, you can say, "Here is what we will do next." Or you can say, "Let me explain this step by step." Or, "Here is the main point." These sentences are simple, but they shape your identity as a confident communicator. Third, speak with purpose. Even if you say only one sentence, say it with intention. That is how transformation begins. You have learned a lot today, but your journey does not end here. This is only the starting point. There are many levels of leadership speaking that we will continue to practice together. Future episodes on MindFlow English will help you build more advanced skills, such as persuasive speaking, storytelling for influence, and how to sound calm under pressure. I will guide you through every step, just like I did in this episode. You are not learning alone. You are learning with me, Amelia, and with thousands of learners around the world who want the same thing you want: better English, clearer communication, and stronger confidence. Before we finish, let me give you one final mindset shift. Leaders are learners. The moment you stop learning, your communication becomes weak. But when you stay curious and open, your English grows naturally. So whenever you watch a video, listen to a podcast, or practice a conversation, do it with the mindset of a leader. Ask yourself, how can I express this better? How can I speak more clearly? How can I guide the listener more effectively? This mindset alone will change the way you speak. Now, as we close this episode, I want you to take a deep breath. Feel the progress you have made. Feel your English becoming stronger. Feel your voice becoming clearer. You now have the foundation to speak like a leader. And if you keep going, your confidence will grow every single day. Remember, you do not need perfect English to make an impact. You need clear English. You need intentional English. You need English that reflects the leader inside you. Thank you for spending your time learning with me today on MindFlow English. If you found this lesson helpful, make sure you like this video so more learners can discover it. Leave a comment telling me which part helped you the most, because your feedback helps me create better lessons for you. And if you want more easy English podcasts designed to help you sound confident, natural, and powerful, subscribe to MindFlow English and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Your journey does not end here. After this video, go watch the next lesson on how to build natural fluency through real conversation patterns. It will help you take everything you learned today and apply it even more effectively. I will be there to guide you step by step. This is Amelia from MindFlow English. Thank you for learning with me. Keep practicing, keep improving, and keep speaking like the leader you are becoming.